What's going on, gamers? We got an interesting comment here just said by Mike Ybarra, who's an ex-president of Blizzard, and before that, as we know, Microsoft Xbox. Now, sometimes he has decent comments, but in this one, I'm like, what are you talking about? I don't understand how that makes any sense after what Sony just did for the past 6 years. It says right here, he calls Sony's decision to stop releasing PlayStation hits on PC logical. Now, that makes sense, right? But the reason why he says that does not make any sense. And I've already explained this before. He says Sony views Valve as a major new competitor. Where did Sony say that at? And how's that even possible? A major? Dude, a major means like you're coming in to sell like at least 30, 40 Steam machines. That could be a problem, you know what I mean? Right? Not 50, 60, 70. They ain't coming even nowhere near that. Otherwise, this thing would be like $500. He says Sony views Valve. This is where we need to stop. Of course, we see the rest. Valve is a major new competitor. That's crazy. No, they do not. If anything, Valve was a supplementary or an additional business partner for Sony's first-party publishing in the past 6 years. So when PlayStation put its games on Steam, which a lot of people were happy about, whoever supported it, right? When PlayStation did that, right? Sony was looking to see how much support they would get from Steam. And they let it go for years. We see how long they did it. We saw how much money they made compared to how much PlayStation was making. Now, we know how many people are on Steam compared to how many Steam machines are going to be sold, right? Because the Steam base is way bigger than what the Steam machine base is going to be. Same thing with the Steam Deck, right? I'm trying to figure out how Sony's going to view them as a major new competitor. Considering how much more money this is going to cost than a base PS5 and be weaker, not that much weaker, probably almost around the same specs, right? And a Series X, but they came out in 2020. And the PS5 Pro is a lot more powerful than the Steam machine, definitely with PSSR 2 now. And they're going to try to charge more money than what you would pay for about a Pro or somewhere around that value, right? But PS5 level specs, and a 512 gigabyte SSD and a 2 terabyte option, which is clearly going to be 900 plus no matter what. And the Pro has a 2 terabyte. I'm trying to figure out how Sony's going to view that as a major new competitor when they pulled their games away from them too, because it wasn't giving them the results that they wanted. Not because the Steam machine is coming to be a threat. That's like saying this, when the Steam machine comes on the market, it's going to be a bigger threat than the Steam base on PC. If anything, Sony wouldn't have done that because they would have been afraid of losing people to PC on the Steam database because the Steam database is a lot bigger. You see what I mean? Logically, he's not making any sense. I don't think Sony is threatened by the Steam machine at all. It doesn't make any sense. If they weren't threatened by the series selling 30-something million, the Steam machine, which is, we don't even know if that's going to sell 10 million, why would they be threatened by it? The Series X is more powerful than the Steam machine. You see what I'm saying? They weren't even threatened by the Xbox One, and that sold 50-something million. This is where I don't understand what Ibara is talking about. It's like, I don't give it to me. No, dude, Sony gave you the exclusives for almost 6 years on the Steam world. And the PlayStation hardware sales did not go down. PS4 was still selling no problem. PlayStation 5 is on its way to 100 million by the end of this year with GTA and all that guaranteed. It didn't hurt them. Everything Microsoft did, that hurt them big time. Now, if you said that Microsoft is being threatened by Steam, by the Steam machine to a certain extent, I would say possibly because they got your games. You don't have PlayStation games. And even if PlayStation games were coming, do you really think people are going to buy more Steam machines when they could get the PS5 Pro, which is cheaper? I'm talking most people that get PlayStation games are PlayStation people. Steam has already proved that by the support that it provided. It wasn't that much. It initially seemed like it would be somewhat okay, but they pirate other stuff and they can live without PlayStation games to a certain extent. So it's like, no, by what you saw on Steam is the biggest threat Sony would have had. But why would Sony see them as a threat? Otherwise, they would have never partnered with them. Now they're coming with a hardware, but this box is not going to threaten PlayStation at all. PlayStation is going to outsell it consistently. Even during the PS5 generation when it comes out, just watch. You see what I mean? Because Valve is not going to be selling like that. They're not going to have GTA 6 either. It's not going to be for a while. Probably till like late next year. Rockstar takes forever to do things. We know this. It ain't gonna be like, okay, yeah, we got the port out. It'll be out in a few months. That's not Rockstar, man. It's gonna take longer than that. Sony has so many exclusives coming too that they're not gonna be sharing. And then you got the PlayStation handheld coming, and then PS6. What I think Sony's just doing is realizing they just need to strengthen their identity as strong as possible. And PSSR2 is kind of taking over the scenes, which is going to make the Pro, I think, more of a hot product than the Steam machine. They'll end up going neck and neck in sales because of GTA 6 and all the other stuff and PSSR 2. There's something to look at. So the Steam machine is coming to living rooms and the console market. Good. Valve rarely makes mistakes, and Sony understands that, a fact that Sony is well aware of. It's weird that he's saying that because it's like, I don't understand why you think the Steam machine is going to be threatening to PlayStation 2. It's not. If anything, it's more welcome into that field. I think that makes the game better. Macer Tech says, yet he couldn't give me one unique system level future. He also couldn't tell me why one would want a limited system. Could just get an Xbox Helix and PS6 and be library and future complete IMO. I mean, if that's what you think, I understand that. Or you get the Switch 2 and the PS6 and you're fine. Because you have all Xbox games, you have all PlayStation exclusives, you have all Nintendo exclusives, and all third-party games. I don't know why we need an Xbox Helix. Breaking news, 50-year-old wanker fanboy who got fired by Microsoft has a totally not biased opinion about PlayStation. More at 11. That's pretty funny. Nobody knows if it's even true, but everyone is acting like it's set in stone. Valve has always had a terrible hardware distribution. They only sell to a few countries, and is why Steam Deck sold millions less than it should have. Steam Machine won't be a threat to anything. Literally, it's just Valve extending its ecosystem out. Now they have something like a handheld, which is niche. They're going to have something like a console-like experience, which is niche. But the main thing is always going to be the main Steam aspect on a platform to where, when you think about it, if there was that many consoles out there in the world, think about the ratio percentage. Where it's like, that's not bad, but how many PCs are there? So this is how much of the percentage ratio you're actually grabbing compared to something that really only exists. Like PlayStation is only PlayStation. You know what I mean? It's not like no open PC to have all these other things on there. To an extent it is, but that's in the PlayStation world. And Nintendo is 100% Nintendo. Whereas Steam is a part of something that has a lot of other things on it consistently as like a custom computer. It's what, personal computer. That's what that pretty much means. So it's a little bit different. But yeah, I mean, Steam Machine being a threat to PlayStation, it just doesn't make any sense. I honestly would think Xbox as well, being a console hybrid, would be a factor. Another irrelevant man, that's why he's out of a job. PC coming to living room is the doom of PlayStation. Sony is right to be afraid of new hybrid consoles. Nobody's going to like this. There are many people who own both PC and PlayStation. Their next choice will be hybrids. Well, Nintendo has done that. But the Steam Machine is not really a hybrid, really. I mean, it just coming like a console, pretty much. It's went up here like one, but it's still a PC. But they're just shaping it like that. I would say the Switch 2 would be more of a hybrid because it's a handheld and it's a console. You know what I mean? Not something like. It's not a handheld like, and it's not a console like. No, it can be a console docked and it can be a handheld. Steam Machine is a Steam PC, but coming in the shape of a console, and it's going to be allowed to be hooked up to PCs with a controller. You could still do that with a PC anyways. You could do that with a laptop. But it's just better to have the off-screen monitor. And most people game on consoles with monitors. It doesn't matter, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, it's just a fixed PC with Steam OS, which is welcome. You know what I mean? I just would like to see Valve do something more powerful. And I think that'd be more attractive if you can get down a Steam Machine in the future to $500 and then launch like a Steam Machine Pro or something and have that like 800 or like $900 and that thing be pretty beast. That would be nice. So the Steam Machine is a PC, but it's viewed as a competitor and a console, but the new Xbox, since it runs PC games, is not considered a console experience. That's the thing, Joseph. You're exactly correct. The Steam Machine is a PC. That's why Valve said we're not subsidizing and we're not selling it like a console. So it's not a console. It's a PC coming into the console living room shaped like one to be hooked up to a TV with controllers. Not like you can't already do that with a PC anyways, but it's just Valve wanting to give people a smaller aspect of a mini PC to say, hey, just in case you don't take your huge PC to somebody's house looking like a nerd carrying some big tower or something, if you don't have a laptop or something, you just want this little mini box to come with you, you'll be able to do that. And like I said, they're just looking for a niche audience. It's not going to be anything that is going to shake the world, I'm telling you. People's expectations need to be leveled, and that's what I'm doing here. So Valve really makes mistakes. That's definitely a statement. Yeah, I mean, they definitely make mistakes. Did this ever even get confirmed? Nowhere does Sony view Steam Machine as a threat, I promise you. Nintendo is way more of a threat. The Steam Machine is not a console. It will not be marketed nor priced as such. Ibara is just shaded. Correct. They're not going to be putting it in GameStop. They're not going to be putting it in Walmart. You know what I mean? It's going to be kind of like in the Steam Deck situation. And I tell you, the Magnus is going down the same route. They're both in that. It says, does he ever shut up? I swear. We hear hot takes from the guy like every second day. Usually complains about Xbox, so I guess that's different. Um, the double fired still does let Huss hard feelings go. Get over it, man. Mike got kicked out of the office. Valve makes constant mistakes. So does this take make Microsoft stupid for allowing Steam into the living room? The next Xbox is already a failure because they are giving Steam the keys to the next generation, and Xbox is going to go bankrupt. I don't know about that. Dude, nobody here is agreeing with what he says. I just don't understand why he would say that. So yeah, I want you guys to let me know what you think about this. Leave a comment down below. It's like, dude, like I said, if they would have been a threat, it still doesn't make sense because what Sony was looking for on actual Steam, that's why they put their PlayStation games on Steam and not on Windows Store, was for you to support my games massively and me to still get the same success and you're not hurting my console. That way I'm rolling big time. But no, I'm pulling my games away because the percentage is so low. That's the truth, guys. What Mike is saying is like saying that the Steam machine is going to be more of a threat than the Steam database. Sony never saw it that way. So why are you talking for Sony in the wrong way? It doesn't make any sense. Later, y'all. Befuddled by that, right? It's like, good Lord, keep gaming no matter what platform you're on. And if you're looking forward to the Steam machine, hey, look forward to it. I'm not beating it down. I'm just giving people a realistic expectation here. You guys know what we do over here. Later.